guys, Euroslam back with you today. Like I've been doing, a video a day. I did make a video this morning. I made it a little later, obviously in light to what happened yesterday. There were no games on. I brought in Jerome back for this video today. We talked a bit. We talked a bit last night of everything going on. We talked a bit today, and I kind of said, why don't you come film a video with me, kind of thing. He's got a lot to say as well. So first off, of course, if you haven't already heard, the NBA yesterday started with the Bucks. There was a shooting. There was a shooting in Wisconsin. Jacob Blake was shot 7 times in the back when he was trying to get into his car. Back to the officers. So another shooting, another black man in the States.
So the shooting happened in Milwaukee.
It was Wisconsin. It was close to Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, but it was like around the outsides there. So the same state as Milwaukee's in. So obviously it was a lot of them. It affected them. It's where they're from or where the team they play for. So, and George Hill had been a big advocate talking about how it's, this is bigger than basketball. He had made a statement the day before about that. And Giannis had talked to the team. They had a team meeting before the game. They had said they didn't want to play, so they never came out at all. The Magic were a bit confused, and then all of a sudden the Magic left.
Oh, the Magic were on the floor already, and they
didn't know anything about it at first.
The Bucks just didn't walk.
And then the Bucks just stayed in their locker room and didn't even come out.
Well, that kind of shows how fast news travels as well.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the rest of the games, the other 4 teams decided they didn't want to play either. The NBA clearly respected it. They postponed all the games. It wasn't even a forfeit. It was a respected thing from the league. They said, no, we'll postpone the games for now. It turned into kind of a little player strike thing where today the games are also postponed as well. We're looking at potentially canceling the season. So they had a players meeting today. The main voices there, LeBron and Kawhi, had come out. They were actually advocating to cancel the season.
I feel like Kawhi and LeBron need to talk to Chris Paul, the president of the union.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone was there.
Chris Paul has his, Chris Paul's not going to be happy if anybody makes a decision without him, right?
Yeah. Well, LeBron has kind of been the voice of the NBA because of what a big star he is, right? He is the face of the NBA. He has been for the last, 10 or 15 years. So he's always kind of been a voice for players that are, not as big names. He's been that kind of voice, and he's been constantly standing up for situations that have been happening.
This whole thing in the Players Union has happened before, that stars going behind Chris Paul's back as the president and making statements that he has not confirmed or whatever, just because they have stars over the president. Doesn't seem actually fair or right, just because,
I guess it wasn't really like LeBron was saying something to do. Basically what happened was some players voiced their opinions, and then they had basically a vote, which apparently the Lakers and the Clippers voted to cancel the season. The other teams that were there voted to keep playing. So as of right now, they're leaning towards starting back up in tomorrow or Saturday. I guess Chris Paul and Westbrook were talking to Michael Jordan about the situation and stuff. And I guess it came down to, in the end, the players' thought process was that by continuing to play the games instead of not playing the games, that they would get more exposure and be able to have more of a voice. As you've seen in the past few days from the coach Doc Rivers, you've seen it from George Hill, you've seen it from LeBron. In his press conferences, posting on Twitter, posting on Facebook, they've been able to have that kind of media outlet where they've been able to talk about the issue and how frustrated they are with what's going on. And by canceling the season, first of all, by going on the strike, it was a huge thing because the games were canceled. They had this huge media outlet where it did make a statement. The fear they had was that if they cancel the whole season, then you're not playing games every day, so you're not getting quite as much exposure as you would as when you do play games every day.
So it sounds like you're on the side of the season continuing.
No, I'm just giving the facts here, what they're saying. That's basically the reason why the players wanted to continue. So that was the reason I was given.
If that was the reason, I don't think they should have, stopped playing games a day ago and starting the next day. I think they should just get playing, talk about it after the games are done, figure it out instead of making rash decisions right away.
I think the reason for that, though, was they wanted to make a statement that they did, take a whole 2 days of, no games happen. And even, the first day yesterday when all the games stopped, everyone tuned in to watch the game, and it was like, wait, why is there no basketball? And it was just this big awareness thing, right? That's what they were hoping to accomplish to begin with. And it did create some positivity. A lot of people were talking about it, and they said they were proud of these players for doing this. It's a tough situation, too, I think, because it's tough that for some players it's easier to leave than it is for others. There are a lot of players that are young, and they do rely on these paychecks. You do have guys that are, working in organizations. There are players, there are referees, there are people working for the teams, people go to TAL, all different people that work within for the NBA that are relying on these paychecks. It's a tough thing to actually cancel a season. You are losing paychecks. I think really it's got to come down to higher up. It's got to come down to the mayors, the governors, the police chiefs, the president. They got to start making changes. They have to act on this. It is getting ridiculous. Doc Rivers came out and he said, when you're watching this video of Jacob Blake, it shouldn't be black people that are upset and frustrated. He said it should be all Americans. I'll take a step forward. That it should be any human being watching this video should be upset by it.
10 years, it's not been coming up for the last 2 or 3 years, right? It's been happening for decades. No problem. Now that I feel like there is a shift in media that's focusing on a president that doesn't value Black lives or whatever, as opposed to a president that we had for the past 8 years that was a black president, and there are black youths dying in this time, but he wasn't put in the media because why? There was a black figure, a black president or something a black authority man in higher power, so it proved okay. If he could succeed, other black people could. But now that the narrative has changed, that there's somebody else in power that might not seem black affiliate or whatever, or politically correct towards minorities, they try to put minorities or whatever these things are right in the media and whatever. But this has been happening for 20 plus years or whatever in the States, right?
Since the beginning, I just think it's up to these guys now. They have to do something. There has to be harsher consequences for these cops. They have to change something because it's continuously happening now. You've seen it.
Well, when it comes down to about the league, though, I think the league should continue for the rest of the season. And when it comes to the 2021 season, they should actually make a stand there and decide, okay, we don't want to play until they see some real changes. Right now, they're in the middle of the season. They're in the middle of the playoffs. They've been all working towards it they've been fighting from the coronavirus to get here.
Yeah.
And, okay, cool. They see all these crazy shit happening with kids being murdered, but it's been happening for so long.
It's a very white-dominated league, too, with the owners. There's a lot of white owners.
But the players can choose not to play.
Yeah.
There have been things happening in different leagues that players have chosen not to play and take a stand, and they have just been kicked to the sidelines. And nobody else chose to stand behind them. And now just because it's on the media much more, everybody else wants to get their voices heard. There was so much more opportunity before, 2, 3 years ago, for these players to actually come out there and say, oh, fuck, I need change to happen, just like LeBron James said today. He could have said it 3 years ago, but he didn't. Why did he say it now? Because right now, the media is shining a light on them more than it was before, as heroes, as opposed to people that shattered before and were losing their jobs, not getting sponsorships, not getting contracts.
Sure. LeBron, the one thing I will give LeBron credit for is over the years he has been very vocal about his beliefs and really trying to take a stand and stuff, and he has been the front of all the times when there have been issues. He's always spoken out. He has been honest about his opinion. And the NBA is slowly, trying to make statements and trying to take stands and stuff.
I don't think it should be at the expense of this season right now.
When I talked to you, what was your first initial reaction when you heard that yesterday, that they were stopping the games and potentially canceling the season? Was it?
I woke up ready to watch the Lakers game at 8 p.m. and you messaged me saying there was no game. Yeah. I was just shocked. I didn't think the players would react like that because in my personal view, it's been happening for so long that nobody reacted that way. It just seems like now they are jumping the gun to a reaction to show awareness to situations that have been there. And they could have done it in a better way. I feel like it's the same way with the riots that happened after the George Floyd shooting. Yeah. They jumped the gun and made it seem like, aggressive point, whereas they could have started it from a peaceful manner, right? They could have come out and actually made their points heard to the media without actually going on strike or actually looting or actually going and doing all these aggressive things to make them the enemy. Now that you've gone on protest, people are going, oh, now you're hating on the way we express our freedoms or whatever.
Yeah,
there's been better ways of you going on TV and talking about it as opposed to just shutting off and
Yeah. I mean, I was honestly, I was caught off guard, and I think the reason why I was surprised is that, like you said, it's been happening for years. For years, players have come out and said, like they've been frustrated, they've been upset, this can't happen. But we never ever seen them actually walk out of a game. Short of Colin Kaepernick taking his stand, we haven't seen a lot of players taking a stand like that. So,
and when other players of his race saw what happened to him, why did nobody else feel connected to stand up for him then? Nobody else took a pay cut, nobody else got fired, nobody else was off the shelf for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And now players have decided to resign, quit, lose their jobs. And somebody did this a while ago, and everybody put
the NBA is a business, right? So it's a tough thing. It's always about money, right?
NBA,
That's what it comes
NFL,
down to.
NHL,
It comes down to money, and it's just.
But it shows people's qualities and values and morals. You could have done this you could have done this a long time ago. So,
do you think their intentions are genuine, or do you think they're kind of mixed? Do you think?
I think they're mixed. I definitely think they're mixed. I 100% feel they are going through all these struggles.
Yeah.
And as a person that
obviously they are upset too. We can definitely know they don't want to see all these people get killed.
And nobody wants to be a pariah. Nobody wants to be the first man on the cross, right?
No.
Nobody wants to be a Jesus Christ nailed to a cross. There's always 1 in a billion that's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's a good thing that players are making their voices heard now. More people are doing that, but it's just not done the right way. Just the way that all those riots happen, in the way that now protests are happening. It should have just been they need to talk it out and actually find a game plan. And
maybe after season 2 they'll talk a little more. On that note, what do you think going forward? Is there anything else you think they can do? What else do you think they will do? Where do they go from here, basically, after the season? If they do continue season and it ends, where do they go from here now?
I think the 2020 season should end, and they should put a pause on the 2021 season if they're really serious about all these feelings that they have towards all these situations that are going on in the United States right now. They should take a break from the 2021 season, tell owners that they're not coming back until they see some real change in the cities they live in, until they see some real change in government and politics. Because now we're pretty much, 4 weeks left to the rest of the season.
A lot of these owners, too, they are billionaires, right? So you put the pressure on the owners, then maybe they can talk to the mayors or the governors, and you can actually, you can make you can actually make a change,
so if
right?
you stop a whole new season, you're stopping the last 4 weeks of you're stopping the last 4 weeks of a season that's been going on for 9 months.
Yeah,
it doesn't really affect the income of these owners or whatever. If you decide to finish this season, get your champion, get your trophy, and then all teams decide together that they're not coming back for the 2021 season, it might put a damper, or it might put the owners in a tighter spot to decide to talk to other people, talk to government, talk to their constituents, talk to investors, talk to people to make actual change. Because that's a whole year's worth of basketball TV rights, TV money, sales, merchandise that they are not potentially going to get, as opposed to 4 weeks of TV merchandise and sales and revenue.
That's true. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see the next coming days.
And I personally want to see a champion for the 2020 season.
Yeah, so. I mean, you got this point, right? So we'll see. I mean, I'll try to make a video tomorrow. It depends on the season. If the season's not, it would take a few more days off. I'm not going to make a video. We said what you just said now. Not much more to say on it right now, I feel like. So when basketball returns, we'll make some more videos. Always good having Jerome back in the video, despite, tough times and that's going on. But I'm glad you could voice his opinion as well. Anything else you want to say about anything going on?
On a side note, if you guys give me enough likes on this video, we'll be back to talk about some crazy news in soccer. Lionel Messi.
They're pushing for some soccer videos.
$700 million conversations happening here, guys. So if we get those likes, we might be back to talk about the GOAT game on soccer. Lionel Messi making those moves. Soccer will never be the same again after this year.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. We'll check you out soon, hopefully tomorrow. Thanks guys.